Nothing without intention. Do nothing without intention.
Hey there, demons. It's us, your boys.
Yes, it's
We're
us, it's
back
us.
for another episode of Naive Ramblings.
Yes.
How are you?
Girl. Jacoa. Wow. I am finished. No, yeah.
What have you been up to since we last spoke?
Work.
Even though I was doing a lot of those things with you. Still gonna ask because the listeners don't know.
Work outside of work as well as my studies. And so, yeah, right now there's a lot that I need to sort of like, I don't know, like handle or manage.
Balance.
And it's dribbling me. Wow, yeah. I am seeing my life, my mother's life, my ancestors' life, everybody's life.
Amen.
So, yeah, like I'm just trying to cope right now.
Things are hectic.
How's it going on your end?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Excited about how much I have on my plate, even though it's a lot. But I'm doing good. I'm trying my best to do this adulting thing. And that's actually the episode for the day.
Yeah, that's our episode for today. We always talk about how we're like navigating adulthood and, you know, just being adults in this society. And so now we want to like figure out like not figure it out, but we want to talk about what does it actually mean
to be the fuck is an adult?
What's that?
So it's like, it's actually very interesting how much the idea of an adult has changed over the years. Because if you remember when you were reading like Romeo and Juliet and Juliet was like 11, 13. Yeah. She was an adult or considered a woman. Where like adulthood was determined by biology at some point in time, where if you got your period, you were ready to start a family, have kids. I
mean, look at our grandparents. I don't really know how old my grandma is or how old my other grandma was, but I'm pretty sure they started off really early because I'm sure it was like a biology
because of that thing back then. So it's like, it's wild how much the idea of adulthood has changed over the years. But if you look at our generation versus our parents' generation, their adulthood was very different to how ours looks right now. Because we were having this chat about how like millennials are starting off later,
much later
when it comes to certain things, but when it comes to other things, we're doing them first. Because when I look at like my dad's generation, a lot of people are going back to school to get certain degrees, and a lot of us are like starting off with all of the degrees and then going off to work. So just things are a bit different. But today, essentially, what we're going to talk about is adulting as a woman, and how that actually starts way before you become an adult, because you get all of those responsibilities as the girl child. And then also about adulting as an adult who's still dependent on other adults around them in order to be able to function. And what else? Dealing with adulthood as a woman in general, because I mean, that's our experience. And that's what we can speak based on. So I don't know, like, I know you're not the firstborn, but as the only girl or first girl, obviously your responsibilities, you became an adult earlier than you should have.
Somewhat,
like, how was that?
I don't know, like I don't want to, I feel like you grow up and then you like internalize this whole thing of like, no, I matured. Matured quickly, but I matured quickly, but it's like
I learned how somebody actually posted that we think we matured really quickly, but we actually learned how to deal with trauma from a young age.
From a very young age.
So now we know how to manage situations that are actually fucking traumatic.
Exactly. And so I've had to sort of look outside of that and be like, outside
is
of
this
that
me, or is this what I was
exactly
conditioned to be?
Exactly. I'm definitely going through that at the moment, where I'm like, is this really my personality? Is this really who I'm meant to be for now? Because obviously we're always evolving and all that stuff. Or has the way I've been designed right now a reaction to everything? So I mean, for me, it wasn't really that hectic. It was mostly just like chores and stuff like that. But even then, it was I think I had always had that thing in the back of my mind, like, okay, I need to be responsible. I need to not, bring trouble. Yeah.
Bird Box. A lot of people are like, she didn't like girl, or no, she liked girl more. That's why she was preparing her so much. And it's like, no. You're a child, bro. You don't give a fuck about whether or not this person likes you or not, the trauma is there. Like being ill-treated or having too much responsibility placed on you, it's there.
Yeah. So, yeah, from a young age, I kind of had to be cognizant of my environment around me. And from a young age, I had to kind of, I had that thing of like, okay, I need to be able to handle my shit myself, so I'm not a burden to other people, which I still carry to this day. So yeah, that's me. What about you?
For me, I'm the eldest, but like I didn't necessarily grow up in an environment where I've had to do a lot for my sister, but even the small things that I've had to be responsible for are actually very heavy and very taxing. Like if my gran can't get a hold of my sister, she's gonna call me, or if something needs to happen for my sister. And everything must happen through me for my sister, who's actually not that much younger than me. So all of the things that I'm experiencing, she experiences at the same time that I'm experiencing them. Like my sister started high school while I was in high school, varsity while I was in varsity. So that's what I mean. There are very few things in our life where the one is in a position that is completely different to the other, because we're only 3 years apart. So in terms of our development, it's not that wide of a difference, but there's more responsibility placed on me because I'm older. So I've always had to be that child who just doesn't want to cause trouble, internalizes everything. And it's really messed up when you think about it, because it's so heavy. It's so taxing. Dude. Like when something's happening to my sister, I panic as if I'm responsible for this
that's
person.
me with my family. I'm just like, and usually I prefer to just not be involved, but sometimes you can't not.
You can't. Because it's also taxing on the person that you care for.
Exactly.
So like a huge part of adulthood is actually realizing that some of the things you do, you're not doing them for the person that is going to benefit from them. You're doing them for the person that would have had to compromise or sacrifice so that person could get that thing.
100%.
So you spend like a large portion of your adulthood just cushioning.
Yeah. And I mean, even the whole cooking thing, back to like being a child at a young age, I'd noticed very early that they wanted me to cook because I was the only girl. And I was like, no.
Oh, and your brother's older than you. But
but like 3 years. But we all kind of grew up, not as equals, but we grew up as equals in a sense. And so I had clocked that very early that they wanted me to learn how to cook because I was the girl. And I was like, so I resisted for like a long time. But at the same time, I had that guilt of, damn, like my mom is having to do this on her own. She's having to do everything on her own. But I felt really bad.
It's also interesting how like the people who the responsibility is placed on, the person who cannot be a child in that situation, is the only one who actually processes that guilt or who has those feelings.
Nobody else is
Other
feeling
people
that.
don't care. They're not feeling anything about that.
Umnandi, they are living their best lives. It's delicious to be them. So it's just like, and where do you even begin to articulate it as a child to say, I don't want to learn how to cook because I know what you guys are doing. I want to learn on my own terms, but at the same time, I'm feeling really guilty because, you're having to do it on your own. You come back from work and then
tired.
You have to, and
you're also tired. You're going to shout, you're going to this, you're going to this.
Exactly. So at least I would chop stuff and peel stuff. That's the most I could do. I only started cooking in grade 8, and that was because I went to a school that had a kitchen
studies.
And we had food technology, and we also had the catering club. And so I was really interested in those, and I started cooking through that. And so now obviously like I cook all the time because I want to.
I am not invested in that at all. I am not a feeder. I do not guys,
I've grown to really love it. I love to
when
feed
it comes
people.
to shit like that, I'm rebellious inherently. Like, I can't stand
that's another thing also. Like I found it very difficult to be rebellious as a kid. I mean, a lot of people went through a sort of rebel phase.
I also didn't go through one.
Yeah, I didn't go through one at all.
I was actually really depressed as a teenager, like because I'd felt like I'd always been expected to act like an adult. I couldn't rebel. Like I couldn't be like that. Fuck you, mom. Shut the fuck up.
No,
I was literally that kid.
I never went out. I got home
in my room.
Exactly.
Listen to music and tweet.
Maybe watch
fucked
TV.
Up shit. That was me as a teen.
Yeah. No.
So yeah.
I mean, I hardly did anything as a teenager when I think about it. I mean, I had times. I remember when my brother had already gone to varsity and I was left at home. Sometimes my parents would be like, "Dude, don't you like want to go out or something?" I'm like, "No, I'm cool. I'm here. Like I just want to be here."
I want
part of me feels like they want to they wanted to kick me out, but because they wanted to have alone time. But still, like it's just I couldn't be rebellious. I just didn't have it in me. Even to this day, like I think a lot of people are like, I remember when I got my big tattoo, everyone was like, oh my God, you're a rebel. I'm like, I don't have a single rebellious bone in my body. And two, it's definitely not, it's not the reason why I did it was not for that. Like I couldn't care less about that. It was definitely all about me. Because you know how it is, people will make, especially when you're a girl, they're going to make everything about rebelling against the system. Everything is political, which I understand. But it's not every day, guys. And it's not by force either. So, no. So yeah.
It's like the dude that came up to me in the Gau train. So I had my headphones on and I had my hair out. And then he sees me like from the window. So I'm like, oh, okay, it must be somebody that I know. But I'm like, whatever. I sit down, listening to my music. He literally moves from his seat, comes to sit next to me. And then he's like, I always open up with an interesting story.
Nonsense.
You see, he shows me this mark on his head. And he's like, yeah, when I was a toddler, I got shot here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then he's like, yeah, but what drew me to you is your hair. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, is there something like special about the hair? I was like, no, it just grows like this from my scalp. Like, so a lot of people attach a lot of like I understand.
Yeah. That nigga a weirdo though.
He is weird.
Child.
Moving on to how are you adulting
right now?
Like as an adult who's still partially dependent on their parents. Like, because there's this idea that current millennials, especially black millennials, we don't necessarily, there's this idea that you're going to grow up and your parents are going to raise you and pay for everything, and then at some point you're going to start paying for everything that they have. But that's not necessarily what happens. No. What happens is that like it will be an exchange. So it's like, you get paid on the 20th, your mom gets paid on the 15th.
Yeah.
When you run out of money, your mom has got you. When she runs out of money, you've got her.
Even if she doesn't, I just send it to her anyway.
So that obviously has like a certain amount of limitations on how you adult.
Yes. Not really. I mean, for me, not necessarily, because I do handle all my bills myself. It's just those times where I'm like, I might have overspent a little bit.
But would you?
But I don't know if it poses like a limitation per se.
Like, let me explain, because for me, even though I don't handle all of my bills myself, obviously I'm still like a young gun.
It'd be like that.
I got like 2 salaries, my work salary, my dad's salary, and I hope that the dad's salary never runs out. But like there are certain things that you would never say to your parents. Because you know that you still need their backing in some way.
Absolutely. There's certain, you're right.
So that's why I'm saying like there are certain limitations.
100%. Because so I know there's certain things I would never say or even do, although it's not something that they were like, no, you mustn't do this because
you just know.
It's just that thing. You don't want to test it.
You don't want to test the conditions.
I definitely have those where I'm like, there's certain things I would never, because I still need my parents' backing, not just emotionally, but also like when things are tough, like I might need them. And so, yeah, no, you're right. It definitely ties back to, I don't know if it ties back to that, but also it just ties back to the whole rebellious thing, how people tie everything to rebelliousness. Sometimes you just want to be yourself, but you can't.
But you can't fully.
Yeah, you can't fully, because you have that thing in the back of your head, like, oh my word, I still need these people. Yeah.
So that's why it's like so scary, because obviously we live like very how do I put this? We're privileged in the sense that we have not, like, our identities have not tested our parents' conditions for the love that they have for us. So that's why they're able to support us even through our adulthood. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people become adults as teens and their parents are not backing them in anything because of who they are or other factors. And that's really fucked up. Dude. So like we need to acknowledge that we are privileged in that way. Absolutely. But it is like a very sad thing, because my dad was even saying to my flatmate that it's actually really sad that even though we enjoy living with each other, most people have to have a flatmate. You have to have a flatmate. Like it's rare for someone to be able to afford to live in the space that they want to live in and live in it on their own.
Yeah, it's rare and it's a privilege.
And like
definitely,
when you look back at the other generations, they were able to buy houses really young because the economy was on their side. Things were much better back then. And for us, it's like you can't even own your space.
No. I was speaking to a friend actually, and she's had to now live with. I hope you're not mad at me for putting this. Oh wow. But I mean, I'm not gonna disclose any names. But she's now had to. She used to live alone, and then things got tough, and she had to sort of now share a space with people or a person. And she's talking about just that adjustment and how she really not hates it, but she'd rather not do it. But you have no choice.
Other option.
There's no other option. There's no other option.
It's like you kind of
you compromise so much. Knowing who you are. I mean, she knows that she's not the type of person
that enjoys living with people.
But you can't even be like, no, even for that, I'm gonna spend all my money. You can't, because
it's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
Yeah. Like actually, Zananda and I were laughing the other day. You get full-blown adults talking about how when they get married, they want to live in 2 separate households with their person. And I'm like, guys, y'all gonna be broke as fuck. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Realistically, it
like,
just
you're not
doesn't
gonna have
work.
2
It
luxury
doesn't work,
houses.
guys. It doesn't work.
It
would be nice in an ideal world. Really, trust me, I would love it. Because I really don't know how I'm gonna live with someone else. I've never done it besides living with my family. So when I think about living with a partner, I'm like, I don't know, I want to do it. But I when I'm being realistic, I know there's no way in
possible.
hell I'm gonna have 2 separate houses. Maybe we'll have a 2-bedroom, but even then, like, come on, fam. 2 bedrooms are expensive.
It's expensive as fuck,
so yeah, no, like
there's a lot that like. Actually, even when I look back and I used to look at other adults as a kid, I used to be like, by the age of 25, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a car, I'm going to have 2 kids, I'm going to be a millionaire. My sister.
No.
6 months' time, 25 is knocking. There's nothing. There is nothing of that nature in my life.
And it doesn't help that we live in the social era that we live in, where it's very, I don't know if it's flashy or what.
It's expositionary. Like everybody exhibits everything that they do. It's like
everyone's voyeurs of sorts. And so exhibitionists of sorts. And so when you go on Instagram, you see someone your age or even younger talking about, I bought a house.
But we need to be careful with that.
Yeah, we really need to be careful with
that. Like,
stuff,
we need to take things with a pinch of salt.
Absolutely.
Be careful on how you consume things and how that affects you emotionally. And if you do feel, and there's no shame with feeling left behind. Because I remember we used to have this conversation where I was saying a lot of my friends are now doing their masters, their doctorates, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
But you need to process those emotions on your own and
definitely don't make it other people's problems.
Why you feel like that? Because I remember we had a friend that used to project about shit like that, because obviously you have certain expectations that you want to have reached as an adult by a certain time. So if you don't have that degree yet, it doesn't mean you're less of an adult.
No.
At all, because it's not necessarily just you that's keeping you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. There's an entire system against us.
Systemic.
And especially moving on to adulting as a woman, where you have constantly been second guessed in everything that you want to do, and now finally you have a bit of agency to act out on how you want to live your life and the life that you had imagined. How difficult is it then when you personally have done the work? You're saying, this is me, my name is Misho, this is what I like, this is what I want. But the world is not used to a woman that has that kind of mind frame.
That is a question and a half.
It's fucking difficult.
It's difficult, guys. It's hard. I mean, the first place advice. I can. Yes, you guys love unsolicited advice. Sometimes I'll just be just talking something in general. Now you wanna give me advice? I didn't ask. I really didn't ask. And that's another thing. I'm like, it undermines me. Exactly. What are you trying to say?
It suggests that I haven't thought about the thing that I'm speaking on.
And that's why I hate when people give me unsolicited advice, because I'm like, you're and maybe I'm overreacting. That's also another thing that we have as women. Where
now you second guess
actually,
yourself.
let me practice
maybe
that.
I'm overreacting.
I'm gonna own this feeling. It pisses me off when people give me, unsolicited advice, because you definitely assume that I didn't think about a lot of things. If you know me, you know I think about everything.
It's very difficult to navigate that with parents.
Yes,
as well, because it's like you say something and then before you finish saying what you're saying, they're already telling you what you should do, and it's like, I've thought of what I'm going to do. Calm down.
Funny enough, I've been experiencing, so decision making has kind of been a bit, for me. I'm definitely coming into making decisions in a better way, but sometimes I find myself like calling my parents like, okay, so guys, like, I'm thinking of doing this. I don't know, like, what do you think? And they're like, do whatever makes you happy. I'm like, come on. Like,
dude, I
need you guys to give me options.
I'm not that kid that consults unless I need something from
absolutely.
Like, I've learned that
I
just keep shit to myself because I'm sick and tired of being second guessed, and I'm sick and tired of someone suggesting things thinking that I have not thought of it.
What I'm trying to say is that for me it's been a bit jarring, because for a long time it was like, here, no, do this, do that. And then now, where I am in my life, I'm at a space where my parents are like, dude, it's your decision, you make it yourself. And I short circuit every single time.
Damn.
Because I'm like,
because you're not used to having all of that.
Exactly, because it was 1 minute it was like, here, decisions, and then now it's like, oh yeah, go on and do your own thing. So that's why sometimes I do find myself, even when I don't want to, I find myself just consulting them. Even though I shouldn't. And even they have that thing of like, why are you consulting us? Like, sometimes I can hear in their tones where they're like, why is she telling us this? But it's just that thing, like, where I'm adjusting to these new extremes, because it really has been an extreme where it was like, okay, do this, do that, and then now I must make those decisions on my own. And our lab definitely struggled with that. But, we are...
You'll get there. You'll
persevering.
You'll travel and get there. You'll travel and get there.
It's a time thing, honestly. It's yeah.
And how do you feel like that affects, I don't know if I can ask, like the workplace, like being able to assert yourself as a woman? It
does.
And also being a young woman in a space where a lot of the people are older, so your adulthood is like being doubted, like your state of adultness is
I'm 100%
questioned.
the youngest. I think I'm the youngest person in my team. I'm the youngest person in my whole team, and so having to assert myself and being vocal and wanting to articulate myself is a bit difficult, not only because I'm young, but also because I'm a woman and I'm a black woman as well. And sometimes I either hide behind another colleague who's more outspoken, or I just keep quiet.
And it's so unfair for the other colleague to have to actually take on that position, because they had to work, but now the politics also affect how...
And even that whole thing, how we always talk about that whole thing of like when you're working with older people and they want you to call them Abo says what do I no, sweetie, this is the workplace.
But also
Auntie,
in general,
please.
in life, like if I don't come from a value system that believes in giving people authority via titles like CC, Mama, Booty.
I don't even call my brother Booty.
If I don't believe in that, then surely I'm not going to be about that here in this professional white man setting.
Definitely not.
Like, that's one of the places where it's not going to happen. I may respect you in your home or in a community I can see that, okay, this is the vibe here. People are Mama,
and even
Sissy.
then I just have my thinking around respect has nothing to do with titles.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with...
It also undermines you, dude, because now you're suggesting that I'm a child in this space.
Exactly. I'm not a child.
We're here like on the same
We're
merit.
on the same level. We're on the same merit. I deserve to be here just as much as you do. I wasn't just, told to come because of
there are no children here.
No, there are no children.
First of all, so we know there are no children in the workplace.
Stop it. So no, in the workplace, it's difficult. Even having to speak to like the senior managers and stuff like that, like I haven't really clocked that. I won't even lie to you. I like go through my own manager, which is a bit dangerous for both of us, because it's like, then there's a dependency that's been created.
Yes.
But I haven't really like gotten the courage where I can go direct and be like, "Hi, boss." I don't call anyone boss, by the way. I'm just
hi, boss. Hi, boss John.
Really strange. It's like calling people abosisi and whatnot. But anyway, not to say that we don't we disrespect people and we don't.
No, but
because I know you guys. I know you guys are gonna. But culturally,
I don't subscribe to that culture. But also, a title doesn't give someone respect.
It doesn't, guys. Like I've seen it, guys. People can call you bo mama, bo sisi, and still think you're a piece of shit, bro. Like, I mean, look at sons and their moms. Come on.
True.
I mean, True. Sons will call their moms all sorts of mama, di mamzo, what, and still treat their parents like shit.
Snaky shit. So yeah, I think I'm keen on hearing what other people have to say about adulthood and like how they feel that they're navigating it, and
absolutely, and what you've learned so far in your young lives. Definitely want to hear about that.
So yeah, please guys, thank you for listening.
Yes,
please like,
subscribe,
comment,
listen to us on all of our stuff, share, tell people about us, listen, watch, all of that. It's just so many platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify, we are on,
and there's a few that actually we need to post
on.
Some
people I think Tidal also has, but I'll check it out. We are on YouTube, on Arcadium. What else are we on? Our Twitter handle is Mgowo. That's our collective one. Follow that. Yeah, don't follow our personal ones. Thank you guys so much. Like, it's been fun. Also thank you guys for the responses. It's been really amazing. Definitely didn't expect it. At the same time, I'm glad that our work is speaking for itself. This is actually another topic that we should have about support and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, true.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for the response. I'm glad you're enjoying this.
Misha's doing that MC at a fucking funeral thing. Bruh, stop. It's time. Cut
vote of thanks.
It's enough.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. We can shoot the second one.